webinar. So we'll welcome you officially to Archmere's first ever virtual 7th grade open house. We were really excited to see we had over 120 families register. So altogether we could have over 300 viewers this evening with us. We're super excited to have you here. And our goal is really just to give you a glimpse into the Archmere experience. So if you're wondering who I am, if we've never met before, my name is Leah Lightcap. I'm the Director of Admissions and Enrollment. And again, we're here tonight to welcome you and inspire you to know that our office, our school, while it may be physically closed, is really vibrant and really open, and we want to hear from you. So please feel free to reach out, whether it's tonight to let us know how we do on this virtual webinar, or anytime in the next days and weeks. We really want to hear from you, and we can't wait to have you physically on campus with us. But in the meantime, we thought this might be a nice opportunity to connect. So if you see me and you see this background, and everyone tonight has a special background from Archmere, so we can share with you just a little bit about our school. So what you see here behind me, this beautiful grassy area called the Quad, and it's overlooking into our manor, which is our art building. We have 13 different electives there, which I'm proud to share with you. But this is really one of my favorite spots on campus. When you come for a tour, we will come outside, and this is one of the first places that you will see when you're here for a private tour. And I love the building, again, because we see students inside learning about art, taking advantage of 13 different art electives. But honestly, outside, if you can see, there are picnic tables and umbrellas. We call that the piazza. It was a gift from our students many years ago. And essentially, whether you're a student or a teacher or an administrator, you'll find us outdoors, just getting a breath of fresh air, having lunch, meeting with each other. It's a wonderful campus, and again, just one of my favorite spots. So I chose this picture to share with all of you tonight during this virtual open house. I'm going to share my screen with everyone. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen with all of our viewers here, because I'd like to share with you an overview of what to expect this evening. So we're just going to wait for this to open, just a moment. Okay, so I'm trusting that you all can see that. Can I see some thumbs up? Yes? You can see that? Fantastic. So once again, welcome to Archmere's 7th grade virtual open house. And to give you just a glimpse into our schedule for the evening and what you can expect in this next hour of programming, you will engage with us as an admissions team, of course. You will hear from our administration, a welcome from our headmaster, Dr. Michael Marinelli. Most importantly, we have our students here. One student from every class is here tonight to engage with you and share their perspectives. And we have two fantastic parents who have joined us this evening as well. 30 minutes of this evening, a majority of the program here has been dedicated to you as viewers. So we really would love for you to ask us questions. They could be questions towards our students, towards our parents, towards us. We would love to tailor this program to you. So any question that you have throughout the night, again, we encourage you to ask us during the panels that we have, after the panels, at any time, either through that Q&A function on Zoom or afterwards. Once you hear from our community, we are going to give you just an overview of what to expect next year. Different events, different stages in our process, just so you can have a snapshot of what's to come. And again, please don't feel like you have to take notes. We will email everyone tonight a copy of this presentation as well as a video of the webinar. And then finally, you're going to hear a closing message from our future principal. So I'm really excited that we put this program together for you all. And without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our headmaster, Dr. Michael Marinelli, and he's going to share with you a little bit about where he is on campus and welcome you as well to our 7th grade virtual open house. Dr. Marinelli?
Thank you, Mrs. Lightcap. It's great to be with you all tonight virtually. I wish it were in person, and someday it will be. I'm confident of that. But I want to welcome you all to Archmere Academy and to our community. As Mrs. Lightcap said, it's a very vibrant place, even though we're physically not there, but it is moving along and moving along in a clip. Just to let you know a little bit about me, I'm a 1976 graduate of Archmere, and I worked at the academy for, it's now a total of 22 years, I think. I taught junior and seniors. I taught electives in accounting and marketing at the time. I was also a fundraising person. I did alumni relations and other things, and became the headmaster here in 2010. So this is my 10th year finishing as head of school. It's been an exciting time, I have to say. This particular time, most exciting, obviously, but it's been wonderful. And I think what makes it great for me are the people, the sense of community that we have, and it's very much realized in these last few weeks, for sure. And I'll talk about that toward the end, but a little bit about what Mrs. Lightcap asked me to do is, behind me is, we call it the patio. It was the original home of John and Helena Raskob. They built this villa back in 1916 to 18. They actually moved in the spring during the time of the influenza epidemic. How about that coincidence? But they moved in there, and they had 13 children that occupied the house with a lot of help from servants and others that help maintain the household. But John Raskob was a financier. He was involved with the DuPont Company, Treasurer DuPont Company, many other things, General Motors, and was very Catholic, he and his wife. And when they decided to move out in 1931, the house was empty for about a year. And in that year's time, the Norbertine fathers from De Pere, Wisconsin, decided to start a boys' school here. And so we began as a boys boarding and day school at Archmere in 1932. We started on September 14th with about 16 kids in the morning, 16 boys, and we added one more in the afternoon. And things grew from there. So this building is somewhat of an icon for us. We have all of our functions there. In the early days, everything was in there. Classes, we were a boarding and day school, so boarding students lived there. And up until the 1950s, when we moved the campus to the right and added the buildings like St. Norbert Hall and the Science Center, and eventually the Quad and the Student Union, where we have all of our dining services and what's so happy. So it's been a real transition over these last 85 years, but the heart of the school seems to still be this building. And our classes have their dances here, proms and whatever. And it's just been a really exciting part of our history. The most important thing I think about the history of our school is that it was founded in a place where a family once lived. And I guess that feeling of family is what I would suggest is the sense of community that we have at the school. It seems to permeate a lot of what we do. In fact, we have a significant legacy component at the school, but we also have a lot of new families who come to the school who find it very similar. They feel comfortable here. And I think in these most recent weeks, that's the one thing I would say as a big takeaway for me, is that people are comfortable with each other. They know that everything will be okay, that we're kind of all in it together. But that sense of community, which is one of our 5 core values that we try to identify as part of our mission, is very much alive at Archmere. Community, reverence, zeal, respect, and wisdom are the pillars that we talk about all the time. And I think they're not just talked about, I do think we live them. So I'm really excited that you're here and want to get to know us more. And one day, I know, hopefully not too distant future, you'll be on campus if you haven't already been. I mean, maybe some of you have already visited us in anticipation of what might become. I'm excited about our incoming freshman class. I'm excited about our senior class. And I know there's a lot of disappointment there right now as far as how we're planning things, but we're working together to make sure that it's really well honored and recognized as far as their 4 years of achievement. Because Archmere is a challenge, but at the same time, you get such a great feeling once you get through the academic process. So with that, I'm going to leave you with just the message that, and maybe it's our prayer for this tonight, that God keep your family and your friends safe through all of these next weeks, and that we will see each other soon, one day in person, and we'll be able to welcome you onto our campus with open arms. So it's great to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marinelli. We really appreciate you being here with us to welcome these 7th graders and their families tonight. And now I would like to turn the microphone over to my colleague, Logan Duffy, who is our Associate Director of Admissions. He runs our shadow program. He's a big part of student life of our school community, also helps out with our lacrosse team. I'm really excited to present him to you so that he can engage you with our students and their parents, and again, have some of your questions answered. Mr. Duffy? Oh, mute button. Sorry, Mr. Duffy.
Of course. I need a mute button in real life more than I do on the internet. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Ms. Lightcap. As she said, I do a number of things on campus. One of those things is helping out with our boys lacrosse team. So I am on our lower turf field here. Want to make sure that we are providing the best things that we can for our student athletes and our students and our actors. And I think the infrastructure that we have on campus definitely helps support what our students are interested in. So again, as everybody said, we hope we can get you on campus sometime soon if you haven't been there already, so you can see some of this stuff for yourself. But virtually we'll have to do for now. So you'll hear about a lot of those things throughout the rest of the evening. So what I'm going to do right now is facilitate our student and parent panel. We've got some great panelists, some of our best and brightest students, two really generous parents with their time. So we want to make sure we hear a lot from them about their experiences as students, from their experiences as parents, and get you guys hopefully a lot of information that you came here for. So without further ado, I'll have our panelists all introduce themselves briefly, and then we'll dive into some questions. So we can start with our parents. So we'll start with Tim, we'll start with Lori, and we'll move through our students. I'll make it easy. We'll start with Lori.
Thanks, Mr. Duffy. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lori Pastel. I am the proud parent of a sophomore at Archmere Academy and an incoming freshman next year. So next year I will have 2 kids on campus, and I'm thrilled for them and for our family. I am actually inside the beautiful patio. As you can see, there are gorgeous stained glass ceiling and a balcony. There's also a fountain behind me. I'm not quite sure you guys can see that. There you go. As Dr. Marinelli had said, it's sort of the centerpiece of campus in regards to tradition and some wonderful events, the prom. And this is also where the admissions staff and is seated. I don't know the right word for that, but this is where they're housed. This is where the admissions team is housed. So when you go through the admissions process, you'll have the opportunity to see this building. So thanks for having me tonight.
And Mr. Hamburger.
I'd like to say hi to everybody and welcome tonight. I know it's a difficult circumstance, but I'm glad everybody was able to make it. I'm Tim Hamburger. I'm the parent of Bridget Hamburger, who's one of our panelists as well, current 10th grader. And I have another daughter who is in the audience tonight, who is a prospective student at 7th grade. And I'm actually sitting in front of right now our coaches field. And the coaches field is the home of the football team, the girls soccer team, track and field, as well as at times the lacrosse teams. So if you come up here on a weekend, especially during the fall, you'll find there's not just a lot of students up here, you'll find a lot of parents. It's just a great place to be and to meet new families, especially for incoming people. So welcome tonight, and I hope you enjoy.
Thanks, Tim. We'll go across the Hamburger household to Bridget.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bridget Hamburger, and I'm currently a sophomore. I play 2 sports. I'm on varsity basketball and on the varsity soccer team. I'm involved in a few clubs, some of them being ALK ambassadors, and I helped out with the fall video segments announcements. And next year, I hope to be a more active member of the Community Service Club. And I'm currently outside St. Norbert Hall, which is where most of your academic courses are held. And a fun fact about this, outside the steps right here, that's where you take your first picture as a class on your 8th grade orientation night. And that's also where you take your final picture as a class on your graduation day. So it's funny to see how things have changed.
Thanks, Bridge. Maeva.
Hi everyone, my name is Maya Bakunga and I'm currently a junior here at Archmere. I play 2 sports. I play field hockey and lacrosse, and I am involved in ALK ambassadors, video announcements, the Be Positive Club, and I'm also in the band. And my background, if you guys can see it, is our oratory. And it's located in St. Norbert's Hall, and it's kind of our little church inside of the academic buildings. And it's where our daily masses are held, and it's completely voluntary for students and faculty to go during a period they have free. And it's also where kenosis is held, which is a 2 to 5 minute period before both lunches, where you can kind of go have a little time to yourself. And it's a prayer service held by one of the religious teachers or Father McLaughlin or Father Zagarella. And it's a nice little time to just unwind in the middle of all your classes. Thank you.
Thanks. And Rishi?
Hi, everyone. My name is Rishi Subaraya. I'm a senior here at Archmere. I'm a four-year varsity soccer player. I'm involved in many academic clubs like Science Olympiad and Math League. And behind me is our annual pep rally, which is a celebration of the fall athletes. It's one of our many school spirit events throughout the year, and it's a really fun time.
Cool. Thanks, Rishi. And last but not least, Aiden Ballou.
Hello, I'm Aiden Ballou. I'm a freshman at Archmere, and I play football, basketball, and baseball. And my background is the Moglia Fieldhouse, which is our gym. And in the gym, we have our basketball games, volleyball games, and school spirit events like the pep rally.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. So we'll dive right into it. We'll start with our parents. Especially right now, with a lot of question marks going on with the academic experience, we want to make sure that our students are getting what they've signed up for and getting what they're expecting as far as the academic experience goes. If our parents could talk about the academic experience on a regular day, but also about how maybe you've seen them transition to the online learning.
Lori, I can go first on this one. So I think the biggest thing for me is I look at what Bridget started off as freshman year rolling into her sophomore year, and just looking at the amount of time she spent independently with her classes, with the way the teachers set up the whole program. I think the most impressive part is the communication that is strictly between Bridget and her teachers. And as a parent, I've seen so much more of an independent approach to her academic side. And then as we've gone through this time right now with the online and the remote learning, it's been even more important that she had that foundation that started for her last year that's rolled into this year. And as a parent, just I'm so impressed by what Archmere's teachers and administration have done with the remote learning. And I think it just is a testament to what they do every day, every day that they're there.
Yeah,
Lori,
to echo
anything to add there?
Tim's, yeah, I would totally agree. I think that the academics and the foundation that was given to Ava as a freshman, the ability to challenge the students to work independently outside of the classroom and to gain some really strong organizational and prioritizing skills was super important over her freshman year and rolled into the sophomore year. And I would have to say, aside from a few very minor details, her transition to virtual learning has pretty much been seamless. She feels like she's in the classroom. She feels like she is interacting with her classmates as much as she can. And it's really sort of been a very smooth transition. And I think the value of her education has not floundered at all in these last 6 or 7 weeks. It's been very consistent and very thorough and challenging, which is great. That's what the kids need and what they want.
Cool. Thank you. Staying on that path, Rishi, you were a very active senior, played on our state championship soccer team, taking a challenging course load. Talk about the balance between your academics and your athletics, or involvement in general.
One thing I love about Archmere, especially with the course load, is pretty much after freshman year, you're in charge of your workload. So you choose how much you want to challenge yourself, along with your parents, of course, and how much you think you can handle, and how much you can balance your time. So I knew I was going to play soccer. I knew I was going to be the head of the Science Olympiad team and be a part of the Math League team. But it's all about finding your balance. And at times, of course, we all struggle in high school, but probably my favorite thing about Archmere is teachers stay 2 hours later than school ends. So they're there to help you. And I know they've been a huge part of my benefits of Archmere. So when you're struggling, there's always someone to help you and really find something. We have over like 60 clubs or something. So finding things you want to do, being a part of sports, it's a really fun time.
Thank you. Aiden, as a freshman, obviously everybody on this chat right now is going to be a freshman first. So how was your transition from your 8th grade year into your freshman year, getting involved as you did, and a number of different things, and balancing that with the school load?
I feel like one thing that helped with that transition especially was playing a fall sport. So I played football, and originally I was on the fence on whether I would play it or not, and I decided I would. So like one suggestion I have for like getting, if you don't know a lot of people coming into Archmere, a way to get to know people is by playing a fall sport. And the academics changed from 8th grade to freshman year a lot, but after a couple weeks you get used to it and you learn how to manage your time and your workload.
Thank you very much. And we've got a live question that just came through asking about the homework load. So Bridge, tell us about the workload per night and how you're able to kind of get involved as you do and manage the nightly duties.
Yeah, so I think it kind of depends from night to night, and it also depends on your course load. So it depends on if you're taking 5 APs or are you taking 3 honors. So you have to kind of know what you're signing up for with your course load. But we have a built-in free period. So you have 45 minutes a day minus the one day you drop that class. But in those 45 minutes, use that time and use it to get work done, because I can tell you, you don't want to come home after a 7 o'clock away game and have to do an extra 45 minutes of homework that you could have done during free.
Great. Awesome. And actually, that's a really good segue. Again, Maeva, we had a lot of questions prior to the virtual open house starting about the daily schedule. Maeva, tell us about start of the school day, length of the periods, a brief explanation on kind of the schedule rotation, if you can.
Yeah, of course. So going based off my schedule in my junior year, I usually get to school around like 7:30, park my car, and we don't really have a homeroom per se. Everyone's kind of spread out on campus, which is really amazing. Everyone is either in the SLC or St. Norbert's Hall or the Science Building. Really, everyone's everywhere, and it's just a great way to kind of get ready for the day. And you can use that time to meet with teachers or maybe get some homework done. And then first period starts at exactly 8:05, and all the classes are 47 minutes. And there is a 4-minute transition between each class. And it seems like a short amount of time, but I promise you it is more than you need to get from class to class. And you have lunch, underclassmen have lunch after 3rd period, and upperclassmen have lunch after 4th period. And lunch is 25 minutes. And lunch is such an amazing part of the day. I know as a freshman, you're going to be nervous about where you're going to sit, who you're going to talk to, what you're going to do. And the fact that I came to Archmere not knowing anyone, and I just sat down at a table with probably a bunch of strangers, and they all became my best friends, and I still sit with them even today. And we have virtual lunch Zoom because we can't see each other. The fact that I literally just did that my freshman year and they're my best friends now is honestly amazing. And after school usually consists of sports, fall and spring. And for lacrosse, practice started at 3:30, so I did have a bit of time to meet with teachers or do some homework before I had to go to my 2-hour practice. And then it's home and homework, and I always get to bed by at least 10 o'clock, which I think is really amazing. Even with the course load that I'm taking, I still have that time throughout the day before practice to get some of my homework done. So I'm going to bed at a reasonable amount of time.
Very nice. Thank you very much. So we'll go back to our parents. Lori, would you mind talking about the balance that you see your daughter have, obviously being an athlete, being involved in student government, taking a challenging course load? How have you seen her kind of grow in her organization and her time management skills?
Yeah, I've seen a tremendous growth. I saw tremendous growth last year as a freshman, just from September to May. I've then even a bigger leap this year. She's really sort of coming into her own, as we like to say, as grown-ups. What I noticed most is her ability to prioritize and her ability to sort of chunk out what has to be done and when. And probably by about mid to late November of her freshman year, she really sort of honed in on the fact that the majority of her professors and teachers were very good about giving work at least a few days, if not a week or so out. So she could really look at her calendar for the week and sort of plan when she had to do what work and when she maybe had a little more time or a little less time on certain evenings for activities. And that really helped her sort of budget her time effectively and really go from somebody who was maybe a little overwhelmed in like September of her freshman year to just hitting her stride and really understanding what her expectations are and moving through them fairly seamlessly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We've had a live question come in asking about a student who's not particularly interested in athletics. I will say, first and foremost, we do have an athletic requirement. We do not have a phys ed class, so we do require our students to be involved athletically in some way. But we do make sure that we offer a lot of other opportunities. Rishi, I know you're heavily involved beyond the field, a president of the club, obviously involved academically. Talk to me about being involved in stuff that isn't athletic.
Yeah, so at the beginning of every year, we have a course fair or a club fair. So around, I think 40 to 50 clubs are present, led by seniors or juniors, and freshmen can go out and sign up for any clubs they want. They can just test the field, see what they like, see what they don't like. And seniors and juniors will usually reach out. And for me, I was the person that signed up for 15 clubs freshman year and thought I could do all of them. Didn't happen. So I settled in on a couple clubs I really liked and that I thought would help me academically, as well as some things my friends were doing. So a couple years later, I'm still in these clubs and I've taken on leadership roles for them, such as Science Olympiad and Math League. And we've competed in states. Science Olympiad involves a bunch of scientific events over the course of a couple months. So you practice for a couple months and then perform at events. And we usually place well at the state meet. So there's a ton of clubs, ton of things to do. I know there's more like different fun clubs. Like I know my friends are part of a kickboxing club. So they go to a local place and go do karate and boxing and stuff like that. So there's really something for everybody. And it's a really good time to meet friends, pursue your interests outside of the classroom. So it's one of my favorite things.
Cool. Dr. Melody, do you have something to add?
Myself. There we go. I was just going to interject one other thing about the phys ed requirement. I know that we also have students who are active outside of school, and so we do honor credit for that. So we have students who've been horseback riders or professional dancers, taking dance very literally. So we do give credit for those kinds of activities, and it also helps students manage their time better. So if they really are interested in a particular physical activity that would qualify as a, that's basically what we're looking for, is a health and wellness opportunity. And that will count as a phys ed credit for that person who asked the question about, because I have to share that when I started Archmere, I was not an athlete. I tried very hard, but it just didn't work out. So I was more the musical kid who got involved with the musical activities of the school. But at the same time, gym was offered then, gym classes, but we found they weren't really necessary anymore because students have so many outside interests. So even doing a workout program at the Y that can be verified would be considered a phys ed activity. Just wanted to share.
Yep, thank you so much, Dr. Manley. I appreciate that. It's a good addition. A couple questions about when the clubs are meeting. Maeva, since you talked about the daily schedule, why don't you talk about the extracurricular schedule? When do you typically see your clubs meeting? When do you see your activities kind of coming together and connecting with the full group?
Yeah, so about once a week, we may have an activities fair where all the clubs generally meet at those times, and it's after second period, and it's about 30 minutes, and that's during the day. And my video announcements club, we meet once a week for about like 10 to 15 minutes just to brainstorm. And for Be Positive Club, we always meet during those activities fairs. So the clubs are very, very flexible with the idea of knowing how well-rounded Archmere students are and how heavily involved we are throughout the school. And a lot of the teachers are the same, who are also club moderators. So they do make an effort to meet during the day, so then you guys have the time for after-school activities or to meet your teacher and stuff like that. So it's not always the biggest time. So it's not like you're constantly spending all your time on one club. club, you still have the opportunity to do everything you need to do and still putting in 110% in whatever you're passionate in.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. We'll move on to learning a little bit more about the academic experience from our students. So we heard from the parent perspective. Aiden, you talked about the balance. Talk to me about how you felt the transition to online learning went. We heard the parent piece of that. We want to hear from Aiden what you think.
I thought the transition to online learning was a bit rough at first, but after a day or two, everyone got used to it, and the teachers and the students started to get on the same page, and we started to get a better feel for the online classes like Zoom, and teachers assigning work on our online program, My Archmere. So everyone kind of knew what to do after the first couple of days.
Cool. And Bridget, would you like to add on to that? How was the transition for you?
Yeah, I think it was kind of the same thing for me. Like at first it was rough, but once I got a schedule, I was kind of able to figure it out better. And the teachers have done a great job trying to mimic what they do in the classroom. Like Mr. Krasros, he still uses the same program writing out all the problems. Or even like Mr. Truminski, like he still finds a way to like incorporate things that we would use outside of the classroom and even on Zoom. So they've done a great job mimicking what they would actually do in the classroom, and that's just made the whole process 10 times easier.
Cool. Very nice. Rishi, we'll go back to you. Getting involved. How important was it for you to get involved right away? How did you feel like that helped transition you from 8th grade to 9th grade?
Yeah, so I didn't know. I mean, I knew a couple people just playing soccer against them, but I pretty much didn't know anyone coming into Archmere. My brother went through the school 4 years before, so I knew some people. I didn't really know anybody. But my first way to get involved was I joined the soccer team, and I played soccer for a long time, so I knew I was going to join anyway. But both of my best friends played soccer freshman year, and they're still my best friends to this day. So it's really good when you have that opportunity to meet people quickly. You have new friends quickly, and it transitions quickly to your school life. So you sit with them at lunch, they become your friends, and people in classes. It's really easy to get involved, and the transition is really smooth. It just takes a little bit of putting yourself out there a little bit, which is uncomfortable for everyone at first, but at Archmere, it's a really welcome environment. So another way is to join a bunch of clubs. So even doing things that are interesting for you, you'll meet new people. Archmere really has that sense of community, which I like a lot, and it allowed me the switch from 8th to 9th grade to be really smooth.
Cool. Thank you very much. Keeping it with our students, Maeva, this is a little bit more of a detailed answer, I think. Talk to me about Archmere, and how do you feel like you've been able to make an impact there? Do you feel like it's a place that welcomes the student involvement?
Yeah, so just like Rishi, I came into Archmere knowing absolutely no one, and I did play a fall sport, and I joined a bunch of clubs to start to get to know people. And as a freshman, I feel a lot of you guys feel that you can't say anything or you can't get involved because you are just a freshman. But from day one, being on Be Positive or being in video announcements or AWK ambassadors, I was able to really get involved as best I could by being a tour guide and answering questions during open houses, and being able to make videos and segments for video announcements, and being able to be a leader for my freshman year for Be Positive Club and help raise money for the Be Positive Foundation. So very early on, I was able to put myself out there and to really hone in on what I wanted to do for the next 4 years. And even until now, I am still a junior leader for the Be Positive Club. I'm on the panel for AWK ambassadors, and next year I will be a senior editor for the video announcements, and I'm still playing in the band. So it was really easy for me to just find what I was interested in and use that to continue on all 4 years. And being a freshman was not an issue at all. Everyone wanted your opinion. Everyone wanted to know what you said because you were an AWK. You were there and you were in the community, and that's all that really mattered. It didn't matter whether you were a freshman or a senior. Everyone wanted to hear your opinion.
Cool. Thank you very much. We've got a question from the audience asking about religion and how it's incorporated in the school day and just the school experience in general, extracurricularly. Aiden, would you like to touch on how you see religion incorporated throughout your day academically and then extracurricularly?
Yep. So one way is like Maeva said, after the period before every lunch, there's a 2 to 5 minute period called kenosis, where everyone goes in the oratory and either one of our priests or one of our religious teachers reads from the scripture for the day and reflects on it. And it's just a time to clear your mind before lunch. And another way that religions incorporated is through mass, and every day in a certain period of the day there's mass celebrated by Father Zagarella or Father McLaughlin. So whoever has free during that period can go to the oratory for mass, and then once a month there's a mass in the theater for the whole school.
Cool, thank you so much. Mr. Hamburger, did you have an addition there? Oh, just raising his hand. Well, since he's raising his hand, we'll kick a question over to him. We heard from you about kind of the academic experience and heard about the balance between that and the athletic experience. Talk to me about what you see Bridge doing at home. Is the workload manageable from the parent perspective?
So I think the biggest thing that a lot of the parents sitting out there right now is their concern is the workload. And I'll tell every parent that's out there, when we were going through that same process with Bridget in 7th grade, our number one question was, will she be able to handle the workload, be part of the band, be part of extracurricular activities? And I can tell you that everything I thought and everything that, I kind of made up in my own head about the process is she's been able to handle it every night. I think Maeva brought up a great point. Just the fact that the normalcy of a routine and the fact that they're still able to get to bed at a normal time. As a parent, that is a big concern. When you hear people saying, my child's up till 1 o'clock every morning. I think the part that Maeva brought up that was accurate is, I think you also have to look at what the course load of some people are. And, are they managing their time well? And the one thing I said earlier tonight probably is the biggest part that I've seen Bridget grow in is just her independence of how she's scheduling her routine. The teachers, I know Lori had touched on it earlier, the teachers that are posting assignments in advance, and Bridget's able to look at, we have 3 away games. I have a band concert all in the same week, which is very, very practical at times. And being able to communicate with teachers and look at that, I just want to reassure the parents, it's very manageable as long as they take advantage of that time that Archmere gives them. And I do believe, I am a high school teacher in the community. I believe at Archmere there's something in the water, because the kids that I see and the ones that I know at Archmere, the way they handle the academic load with the extracurriculars, with the art programs and the musicals, I think it's amazing. And I will tell you that Bridget is still able as a student for us to take her to go see the musical, to go see the play, to see her friends in it during the week. And a part of that is because of the way the teachers communicate with the students so they can work around it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We'll keep it in the Hamburger household again. Most of the people in the audience right now are 7th graders, so they're soon to be rising 8th graders. And a big piece of the 8th grade experience, as far as our process goes, is the shadow visit. Bridge, talk about the shadow experience as a shadower, as a host. Talk about how valuable that was to you.
So my shadow day at Archmere was the reason I came. Like, I fell in love with Archmere when I came. So when you come here, you're going to follow a freshman around for the entire day. You'll see their schedule, you eat lunch with them, you'll meet all their teachers and all their friends, which is really fun and exciting. But when I went, I was also paying attention to see, like, is this a place I want to go? And it was. I felt an absolute love with it. And hosting, you get to host when you're a freshman, which is so exciting. It's one of the most exciting things you can do as a freshman. I was fortunate enough to have a few shadows, and you get to take them around with you, and your whole job is just sell them on Archmere. So when you go to Archmere, which I hope you all will, just like sign up to be a shadow, because you want to sell the place you love. And like, Archmere is a second home, and I can tell you, every student right now is missing it so much right now. We all miss being in the classrooms. We all miss the teachers and the faculty and everyone.
Awesome. Because I do think it's important, we'll go over to Aiden. We'll hear from his point of view about the shadow experience as well. Aiden, you were a rock star host for me this year. Tell me about the shadow experience from your point of view.
I thought the shadowing was a big part for me, not really as a shadower, but as a host. It helped me to realize what in Archmere I loved so much, showing it to other people. So when I would go around and bring people who wanted to come to Archmere, when I would bring them around and I would show them the school and tell them what I loved, I really grew more appreciative of what Archmere has to offer for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll keep it with the academic point of view. Maeva, talk to me about your interactions with your teachers and the connections you've been able to make with your faculty members.
I absolutely love every single one of my teachers, and I have since freshman year. They have honestly grown to be people I call my friends, and the fact that I will be graduating next year and leaving them makes me so sad. Especially now with having Zoom classes, our teachers, I feel like we have grown even closer. Every class, all of my teachers always say, like, how are you guys? What are you guys doing to like stay sane? Like, what are you guys doing to be like feel okay during such a tough time? And I feel like that's so showing of how much they really do care about all of their students. And we have like 5 to 10 minute conversations about like what we've been doing, what are we catching up on. And I feel like that's so important, because I feel like they're still with me. And even though we can't physically be with each other, I know that they always have my best interests at heart. And I still email a lot of my teachers too, just to like catch up and stuff. Like, they have been such a support system for me throughout my entire 3 years here at Archmere. And I cannot wait until after I graduate and I come back and I can just be with them and reminisce. And communication wise, they are very easy to communicate with. If I have a problem, or if I have a game, or if I have to schedule a meeting with them, I just shoot them an email, tell them what's going on, and they are very accommodating to what I need to do. I mean, all the teachers know that playing a sport and being an athlete and being in clubs and also having a social life and being a teenager, like, they all know that it's so hard, and they're just here to help you. And the only way they're going to help you is if you talk to them. So don't ever be afraid to talk to a teacher. Don't ever be afraid to say something to a teacher, because they're always there for you. I mean, there are teachers that haven't even met yet that say hi to me in the hallway, and we talk like we're best friends. And I feel like that's such an important part of being at a school and being a community.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. All right. In the interest of everyone's time, we're going to start gearing down. So we're going to gearing down the panel part. So we're going to have some parting shots from our panelists here. So we'll start with Lori. It's very simple. Why Archmere? Why did you choose it in the first place? Why do you continue to choose it for your next kids?
I would have to say that it has to be something that not only you as a parent, but that your child knows that you are going to be committed to. So why Archmere? Archmere is a very special place. When my first child went through the process of choosing a high school, we saw many high schools in many states and had many tours. And there was something very special about the community, the faculty, the admissions process, and just getting on campus. And there is a sense of awe that you get when you're on the campus. And it's not because of its beauty. That's a wonderful part of it. It's just truly the energy you get from the kids, from the other parents. And so I was very confident when Ava decided that she was going to go to Archmere, that it was the best choice for her. And then after I saw her experience there, I knew wholeheartedly that it would be a great fit for her for 4 years, and that my son had the opportunity to look at other schools and chose Archmere, not because his sister was going there, because of the sense of community, the fact that the academic portion of their education is going to be top notch. that their opportunities are going to be second to none, that they have the ability to work within a school community that not only allows them to excel professionally in regards to their academics and get to the highest level, but in regards to their extracurricular and as the individual. I think that's something that parents really need to hear. Your child is looked at as an individual, they are nurtured as an individual, and it's not something that comes easily in the minds of educators to look at each student and know what they need and to give them what they need and to have the resources to do that. So I could talk for hours about Archmere and why I love it. I think that once you get on campus and have the opportunity to experience it yourself, you'll find out that it is an amazing place to be.
And Tim, same question. Why Archmere?
So why Archmere for us? I think number one, I know somebody had asked the question earlier. It was along the lines of the religion classes, but for our family, we were looking for a Catholic school. And in this area, you know, there's several options. And when we went through the process, my wife and I, with Bridget, we made a decision. We thought Archmere, it was all encompassing. We thought just the more we are around Archmere, it just shared the same values and lessons that we were teaching in our house. And it was something that when you get on the campus, as Lori said, there's a feel to it. And I know when I'm up there with Bridget, even if it's picking her up or dropping her off, just the teachers, the academic teachers and the faculty and Mr. Duffy and Mrs. Lightcap, just the way they interact with the students. And I can tell you, for the parents that are watching this tonight, if you, first of all, I thought our student panel was phenomenal. But if you just listen to the way they talk about the school as an educator, I think there's your selling point right there. I just think the way they talk, and I know I'm biased because I know one of the panelists, but that's every day in our house. Every day in our house. Like I always joke, and I know just earlier tonight with Mrs. Lightcap, I made a joke like, you know, Bridget's an AWK. And I know some of you are still trying to figure out what an AWK is, but you know, it's one of those things that, you know, they believe in the school and everything they do is she wants to be part of that school. And it's, like I said, being a part of friends who are in the spring concert with her, or going to see a friend in the play. When you love where you are, that's why you do it. And I just can tell you as a parent, it is a great, great place to be. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. And to our students, in one sentence, if you can, it might not be possible, as quickly as you can. Talk to me about what makes Archmere so special for you. Start with Bridge. Sorry.
For me, Archmere is special because I guess just like the student-teacher relationships. I mean, like I never would have thought that like the teachers at school would have been like friends of mine, but like they are. Like I've challenged 3 teachers now to a game of horse, Mr. Duffy being one of them. But I've only won once, but that's a different story.
And it was not the one against me, I promise.
But they're also awesome in the classroom. Like the teaching tactics they use, like I never go into class knowing what they're going to do because they change it up each day. So each day you walk into class and you're like, oh, something new. And it's just exciting. And they're always there to pick on you, but also always there to pick you back up when you're down.
Awesome. We'll go to Maeva. Maeva, I'm going to ask you to get rid of your virtual background, and then I'll ask you what's so special about Archmere for you. There you go.
Okay, Archmere is home. Like I just absolutely love coming to school every day. And I know that's kind of crazy to think about, that like a teenager actually likes going to school, but all of the friends that I've made, all of the teachers that I've met, it's home. And I can't imagine spending the 4 years at any other school or at any other place. I have grown to love being here so much. And even though I have been connected to Archmere through my brothers for so long, I automatically felt that this was where I wanted to be and this is where I wanted to make my mark.
Awesome. Aiden, same question. What's it meant to you, man?
Being a legacy, my dad went to Archmere, and I have 2 brothers in the crowd right now. Archmere was kind of like always on my radar since as long as I could remember. But once I got here, the main thing that stood out to me was the sense of family at school, having an AWK in your family at home, and then having a family full of AWKs at school. it kind of brought into perspective how much your family at home was like your family at Archmere.
Cool. Awesome. And last but not least, Rishi, our resident senior. Talk to me about your Archmere experience and kind of what's it prepared you for, and what are you off to next year?
So my favorite thing about Archmere is the community. I know it's easy to say that, and I know every school will tell it to you, but it's harder to put into practice. Whether it's the teachers that fit things to you or counselors that reach out, everyone's there to help. And next year I'll be attending the Stern School of Business at New York University, and the school counselors helped me a lot with this process, and everyone at Archmere is there to help.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. So with all that said, we're going to go ahead and let our student and parent panelists go so they can go enjoy their night. Mrs. Lightcap and I will continue with the business portion of this. So thank you to our students and our parents and Dr. Marinelli. We appreciated your time. And if you have any questions for them after the fact, please contact them by way of myself or Mrs. Lightcap. I will be happy to try and connect the two of you.
Thanks so much, everyone. All right. So like Mr. Duffy said, now we are going to jump into the part of the program where we tell you a little bit about the rest of the process. But just want to say hats off to Mr. Duffy for running that panel. I saw him typing in Q&A, answers online, answering, live, and even sending a couple messages to check in on the pace of the webinar. He is a really master multitasker. So great job.
Anytime somebody gives me a microphone, it's all bets are off.
So listen, we did get a lot of questions from you guys. I was so impressed to see that all of the viewers we have tonight, and many of you were chiming in. And what we can even do, even though we're going to give you the recording and our PowerPoint tonight, we can also type up all of these questions that we received and send you a list of frequently asked questions from tonight, just in case you felt that we weren't able to answer in full detail for any reason, or if you needed more information, we'll get that to you in the coming days as well. So at this point, I'm going to share my screen again and just share with you, Mr. Duffy and I wanted to share with you a little bit about our process. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're looking at this and you're thinking, I can't read that text. It's extremely small. What is this process you're about to show me? I assure you that this is something we really pride ourselves on in the admissions department at Archmere, is that our admissions process is extremely smooth. And Mr. Duffy and I can't take all the credit for that. We've got some really awesome behind the scenes help in our team. We have Mrs. Pat Tolveza and Mrs. Denise Starnes, who are so awesome in making sure that this process is communicated extremely well, that it's seamless, and we're all here for you. So again, our office is completely open, and we're excited to walk you through this process. It will seem lightning fast tonight as we walk through it, but I want you to know everything is on our website. Our process, the software system we use, is really user-friendly, and you don't have to be nervous about interfacing with us or our system, okay? So it is a 4-step process. You can see 4 steps, and this is all you will need to accomplish between now and next year sometime, and we'll take you through each step of the way. So the very first step, I'm gonna turn over to Mr. Duffy to talk about, because he runs this awesome program, this shadow visiting program. And so let's get a little bit about that program.
Yeah, so after you inquire and tell us what you're looking to learn, we work towards moving into your 8th grade year. So this is actually a really good start. The 7th grade open house is a great opportunity for you to usually get on campus and learn a little bit about Archmere and what the next year might hold for you. But we move into the fall, and we want to get you on campus officially and spend a day with us. So the shadow visit's a really important piece of the experience, in my opinion. Gives you the opportunity to meet some of our students. You may have some connections already, and we want to make sure we pair you with somebody you're comfortable with. So if that's that person, great. But you're still going to meet all of their friends, all of their classmates, their teachers. So it's an opportunity to meet our campus and meet the people that make it go every day. You'll attend classes. You have the opportunity to talk with faculty members and club moderators and coaches, and really make the most out of that day. It's a really valuable experience because you really do see us as we are. Open houses are great, but we prepared for this, and we are ready to tell you exactly what we think you should be hearing right now. The shadow day is really a real day. You're sitting in, you're watching the teachers teach that lesson, or talk about whatever book they read that week, whatever it is that they're doing. So having the experience to really see us in action, I think, is really, really valuable. And maybe the best part of the day is lunch. Lunch is on us. You get to eat in our cafeteria. We work with a contractor named Sage Dining. They're terrific. I think if we had asked our students about the food, they would have said it was great. I think if you can plan ahead, visiting on a Thursday is really important because it's chicken finger day. And our students love the chicken tenders. So the Shadow Day is a really important day, and we hope that we're able to get you guys on campus this fall because I think it's really valuable to your experience.
Wonderful. And then step 2. So what happens after you come for this Shadow Day that Mr. Duffy plans and you love Archmere? At that point, I think Bridget, one of our student panelists, said at that point she knew she wanted to apply. So we don't want you to apply until you have that moment to say, spent the day at your school, met the faculty, met the community, I am in, I want to apply. At that point, you would complete your application or candidate page. And again, don't worry about all of this text on the screen. What I want you to see is that it's a very simple checklist, that everything is done online. Everything from asking teachers for a recommendation to be filled out, that request can be sent through our portal directly to the teacher. The teacher then sends that directly to our team. The same thing with transcripts. So we're asking our applicants to submit 7th and 8th grade transcripts. Obviously, during our process, we wouldn't have the entire 8th grade transcript by the time of your admission interview, but as much as you do have would be a good placeholder for your interview. So what I want to stress again is how easy and how online the application process is for applying to be an AUC. Mr.
All
Duffy,
right.
about the test?
And from there, after you've applied, you've spent some time with us, we're moving to the entrance exam, the scholarship exam. So for this upcoming year, they're scheduled for November 14th and then November 18th, November 14th being a Saturday, the 18th being usually a Wednesday. That will be our makeup day. And our test results, as you see right there, they determine eligibility for some of our academic scholarships. They're a valuable piece for us because I think it really is. It's the sole standardized piece of our process. We have students from over 50 grade schools, usually each year. So having everyone come with the same credentials is a little bit challenging. Everybody's application will look a little bit different. So the scholarship and entrance exam really does help us get an idea about where you stand with our class holistically. It's not the only piece of the process by no means. So while it does carry some value, please do not make more of it than it is. We value the full student. It is a holistic process. We want to see how you're doing in the classroom. We want to see what your teachers have to say about you. We want to meet you. We want to spend that time with you. So while we do think that it's important, it's certainly not the only thing. So don't start thinking about it now. Don't start stressing about it now. There are ways that you can practice, but the best way to practice is by paying attention in school. Do the best you can right now, virtually or not. Do as well as you can as you move back to school this fall. That's the best way to prepare for the exam.
Correct. Just a moment. And then this final step, which I think is the most important, and I think Mr. Duffy would agree, and Mrs. Thiel, because she also is a part of our admissions team when it comes to our interviews, is our admission interview. So every single applicant that comes through Archmere is going to meet with one of us. And I did see one of the questions come in on the Q&A about, what is your acceptance rate? Now, every year that's going to look different. This year we had about 350 applicants, right? We interview every single applicant. We want to meet you. We want to know you. You're not just a test score. You are so much more, and we want to learn about you through this process. And so we're proud to say that this year's class is coming in at about 125 AUCs. And it's interesting to see because our school size is right around 500. So every class is going to be different, but right around the school size of 500. So I hope that answers that question well.
And we actually had a follow-up question about the practice exam. So before we get into the interview piece, the 7th grade practice exam has come and gone. We are going to find a way to make sure that we are able to administer that. We're still working towards finding that. But we promise you, once we get to a point where we have where we're confident in the time that we've scheduled, we will absolutely relay that to everyone because we want to make sure that our 7th graders get that opportunity to prep for the exam coming up, for the real exam coming up in the fall. Good question.
Exactly.
All right, and the interview.
Yes, so the interview. I think a lot of students get nervous about an interview. Oftentimes it's their very first experience. And we just want you to know, students, that yes, you will be interviewing with us, but we are a lot of fun and we're truly just trying to get to know you. One of my favorite moments this year is when we were sharing about an interview, and one of the questions we asked this year was, talk about one of the best inventions of all time. And a student said very, very confidently, stuffed crust pizza. And didn't that lead to some really, really fun conversation? We don't want you to be nervous for this interview. We want you to shine. We want you to share your personality, your accomplishments with us so we can get to know you and get you started on the right foot for high school. But yes, one parent will attend your interview. So essentially, as an 8th grader, once everything is complete, you have your application in, you have your transcripts and your recommendation letters in, you'll come in for an interview one-on-one with someone on our admissions team, and then we'll ask at least one, if not both parents, to come in and just have a roundtable talk with us.
All right, and then the financial aid process. We understand that affording Archmere, affording any school is absolutely a hot topic of discussion, and our goal is to make sure that we're doing what our families need us to do for them. We want to make sure that we're providing access. We want to make sure we're providing an experience that our students and our families can reasonably attain. So we really do encourage everyone to apply. The bulk of the money we're going to award is going to be based on families' need. Usually 70% of a family's need is what we're shooting for. That's kind of the average. And we use school and student services, which is kind of a third-party organization that helps us compile your financial information. It's pretty straightforward stuff. It's mostly tax documentation. You'll fill out a short worksheet, and then we'll ask you to provide W-2s and 1040s. And then from there, our financial aid team will meet and make sure that we're getting to a point where it works for your family. We go into a lot more detail during the entrance exam. We'll go through the application process and our decision-making process kind of holistically. But moral of the story for right now, it's absolutely available. The bulk of what we're going to award is going to be based on your family's need. And we promise you that our goal is to make sure that we're helping you make this affordable.
Exactly right. So you get accepted to Archmere. Now what? What can you expect, right? We have a rolling admissions. So what does that mean? Essentially, if you have all of your application materials in and you really know Archmere is the school for you, we work as quickly as you work, right? We will schedule your interview once we have everything in so that we can come together as a committee, make decisions on admission, make decision on any financial aid awards. And so you can expect from that point to really start to get acclimated in our community once accepted. So we give placement exams. One of our students, I think Rishi said, you're in control from the moment you start at Archmere, because you take a placement exam and you're placed in classes that are going to challenge you but not overwhelm you. So taking those placement exams in May, coming in for so many fun orientations. Boy, do we do a lot of orienting of our students. We have icebreakers, we have enrichment programs, we have a lot of surprises built in for our students to really get excited about this experience and this opportunity. I think our students also mentioned the activity fair. We want our students getting involved in the 40+ activities and clubs that we do have, whether that's a student who wants to be a master singer and compete at a really high level with vocals, or a student who wants to be in the band or mock trial. We have fairs early on so that students can interact with student leaders, with faculty leaders and coaches, and really build relationships early so that by the time you have your first day of school, you're not nervous, you already made friends, you have a lot of support systems in place. We are one of the few schools in the area that offers a free summer enrichment program. So we recognized we've got students coming last year, I believe, from 52 schools, this year just about 50. We want to make sure that everyone is comfortable to start at Archmere. So we have a free summer program where students can take workshops with Archmere faculty. They're taking workshops in English and grammar, in math, and organizational and time management skills. So that, again, that first day of school is really enjoyable.
All right, so dates to remember for this upcoming summer into the fall. Later this summer, we'll connect with you. We'll let you know that we are really ramping back up. Again, prior to that, we will let you know about 7th grade practice test. We'll make sure that we're communicating everything to you as we make decisions on that front. early October, our shadow days will begin and our app will be live. We will have an in-person open house, we hope, October 25th. It's important most years. I think it will be especially important this year. So if you've liked what you've heard and you want to come see us in person, that would be a great time to do that. And then as I touched on before, scholarship and entrance exam will be November 14th, and then a makeup day on November 18th, which is the following Wednesday.
Yes, and once our campus is open, please know we love to give tours. So if you've signed up for, let's say, the 7th grade practice test, we'll be reaching out to you with openings once our campus does allow visitors. And when your son or daughter is taking that practice exam with us this summer, we can tour you through campus. That's just so fun to walk through and enjoy our campus. Whether school is out of session or in session, you're welcome anytime to do so with us. With that, we are getting to the close of our program. I want to thank all of you for being here. But before we dismiss, I have the special privilege to introduce you to Mrs. Katie Eisler-Thiel. I always call her Madame Thiel, so it's really hard for me not to go back to that default. But Katie Eisler-Thiel is our department chair currently for the World Languages and Cultures Department. She leads our French exchange program, which we've had a long-standing partnership with a school in France. Runs that program very successfully, is an AP teacher, as well as a 3-year member of our admissions team, again, both working with international and national student applicants. And most excitingly has been selected to be our principal starting next year. And so I am just honored and excited to introduce you to Mrs. Katie Eisler-Thiel, Madame Thiel to me. And if you have any questions, I know that she will be on campus when you come to visit, and you'll be able to meet her in person and be inspired by her like we all are. So I will turn the microphone over, and please, I will stop my screen sharing as well. So please, Mrs. Thiel, go right ahead.
Good. Thanks, Mrs. Lightcap. So good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Eisler-Thiel, and Mrs. Lightcap did a wonderful job of introducing sort of my various roles on campus and also in the admissions office. I am the incoming principal of Archmere as of July 1st, and I still look forward to being able to meet you in person. As Dr. Marinelli referenced, of course, in person is always better, but thank God for these technologies in these trying times to keep us connected and keep us together, even if we are apart. So this evening I'm coming to you from the Learning Commons. I hope you can see my background all right. This is essentially our library space. It has very flexible interactive seating, a number of study room options as well. And as our panelists said, students have a great deal of autonomy. They have free periods during the day. And so this is certainly one of the more popular places to spend free periods, work collaboratively, get ahead on work, that type of thing. It's also impeccably decorated with a lot of student work, as we're always looking to highlight what our students do outside the classroom as well and in their electives. So I know we've all been spending an increased amount of time on our screens, so I certainly want to keep my remarks brief, and I want to thank you again for being here with us this evening. So I'll jump right in. I did a webinar this week in which the consultant spoke to the merits of an independent school education. And of course, I wholeheartedly agree with his comments, but he was speaking more so to these trying times and why we need to value independent school education now more than ever. However, I think it goes without saying that there's always been that inherent value of independent school education. And whether it's during these strange, unprecedented times or not, we've always been offering a product that we're super proud to put forth and one that we really believe in. So the webinar got me thinking about how I might distill the Archmere experience into a few simple yet comprehensive points, while also distinguishing Archmere from the rest of your independent school choices, because we know that you have numerous schools to consider, and of course we think that there is something really superb about what it is we're offering here. So I want to speak to two specific facets of an Archmere education. Our strong foundation and our strong history on which our school has been sort of grounded and which it's grown from. and B, our incredible adaptability in these unprecedented times. A lot of our panelists and our students spoke to this, but the adaptability of our faculty, staff, and students in the wake of COVID-19 has proven that Archmere is a sound investment. Now it's a sound investment in the future, and it has been for actually, well, since 1932, so quite a long time. And it's certainly one that will endure the test of time as well. Our strong tradition, our foundation, so to speak, it's something that obviously we're very proud of. But it's been our ability to be nimble and flexible and innovative, community-oriented in this present moment that has really presented a lot of challenges. And that's been what has brought me the greatest amount of pride over these last few weeks, as we've been faced with challenges that we certainly weren't anticipating just a few brief months ago. So we've made the shift to a totally new learning environment seamlessly and confidently. And most importantly, we've done so without losing sight of our mission and our values. Dr. Marinelli spoke to that as well in his introduction. And I just want to hit that home that every decision that we make at Archmere is rooted in our core values. And I think it's one of the most special things about our community is that we know who we are, our students know who they are, and they're certainly proud to be here. The other comment I want to touch on is sort of the people who are surrounding me. You know, being surrounded by resilient and competent and compassionate educators, not only is it a joy personally, but it's a tremendous motivator professionally. And your students will find that with their peers as well, should they choose to attend Archmere, that they'll be challenged not only by the faculty members here, but they'll be challenged academically by their peers and to be their best selves each day. So I'm sure you've gleaned through this presentation and the various speakers, you know, there's truly too many merits of this place to fit into this webinar. We obviously wanted to keep it limited to about an hour, and I know I'm standing in between you and a relaxing evening, so I'll wrap things up. But we really implore you to come spend time with us. You must visit campus, squeeze every last drop out of the admissions process and the interview process, and certainly by investing in Archmere, know that you're not only investing in a quality education for your son and daughter, you're investing in a lifelong community, and that community extends well beyond our physical campus and well beyond the 4 years of a traditional high school experience. So I hope that when the time comes and the easing of restrictions allows, that you will certainly come join us and see firsthand what we all spoke about this evening, because there's something so magical about being on campus at Archmere, surrounded by these wonderful, vibrant Auks. And I just hope that you and your families will stay well, be healthy, and we do hope to see you in person soon. So I'll turn it back over to Mrs. Lightcap now.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Eisler-Thiel. Listen, this has been our absolute pleasure to have all of you spend this time with us this evening. And we're proud of ourselves. We didn't go too much over time, so yeah. I think we did a pretty great job. Listen, we will be following up tonight's webinar with a survey. We want to hear from you. We want to know how else we could be of service to you in these coming weeks and months. We have all sorts of ideas, like webinars with our department chairs and director of curriculum, or maybe a webinar on the financial aid process. But we want you to tell us what you would like. So stay tuned for that survey that will come in just a few days, as well as, like I had mentioned, we will summarize some of the questions from tonight and send you a copy of tonight's webinar. But again, thank you so much for your great questions, for your engagement, for staying on with us this evening. Mr. Duffy, am I forgetting anything?
No, we appreciate your time. I know you could have been doing a zillion other things in your home, so we appreciate you spending some time with us.
Wonderful. So we will see you soon on campus, we hope. Again, thank you and take good care. Good night, everyone. Go Auks.